Welcome dancers to day 5 for this cross training. We will be starting with some shoulder mobilization. You can use a broomstick, anything that can give you a little bit of resistance. A TheraBand also works perfectly. If you do not have this, you can feel the work with creating the tension through the arms as much as you can. You want to move slow and you want to keep the shoulders away from the ears. The closer the arms will be, the hands will be in that bar, the more tension you will create. So don't hesitate to widen the arms a little bit for the first repetition so you can really work through those sticky spots. Something that is also interesting to think about is how you're using your lower body at this moment. Make sure you're softening your knees, make sure you're actively pressing your feet down, engaging the legs, and lifting through the spine as you open and close those shoulders. Repetition is key. Find space within your shoulder at this moment. Unlocking the elbows can also help, even if it might be a little tricky. If you want to get a little bit more stretch, I will recommend you to feel like you're trying to snap the bar apart with the broomstick. That will help you create tension through the wrist so you don't lose power in this shape. Moving on to your scap push-ups, super important to engage your back and to activate your serratus anterior. These can be done kneeling if it feels better with the knees on the floor. Do not hesitate. Your goal is to keep a soft bend in the elbows and to lower your torso down as much as you can, then to press yourself back up, opening, widening through the rib cage so your scapula are flat on your rib cage. You need to make sure the scapula is actually sliding down and up from your rib cage. This is an easy exercise to fake, so do not hesitate to drop the knees if you feel like your core is not engaged as you lower and lift yourself back up. I would also recommend, if it feels good, to give yourself a couple repetition on a wall, making 2 fists and pressing the fist into the wall as you lower and press the scapula back up. That can be a good way to feel the range of motion that you're trying to create, then after to add weight onto it. Ten reps, 2 rounds. Make sure to find a full range of motion at the end of the 10th rep. This is where you're building. Moving on to your squat with iso hold. You're going to lower yourself as low as possible in a controllable squat position. Then you're going to hold for about 3 seconds. You want to make sure to not just sit into the squat, but to really lift through the pelvic floor using your feet to actively find that slight turnout at the top of the hips and to really make sure that as you find your deepest Do not hesitate to add a band around your knees if it feels a little bit nicer for the hips to feel it opening with a bend. You can also add a weight for the second round if this feels a little bit better. Do not hesitate. You can always adapt, give your body what it needs. For the following rounds, I like to spice it up a little bit and add a baby jump. So find your squat hold, still find 3 seconds at the bottom, then give me a little hop at the top before finding that deep squat again. The jump is optional. You do not have to jump the highest jump of your life. It's just to give a little bit of explosiveness in the body, a little bit of reactivity to the ankles. And again, listen to your body. If you do not feel ready for that, add a band, add weight, listen to yourself, always adapt and reach out if needed. Welcome to your circuit A with 6 rounds. So today will be a little bit different. You're going to do 3 rounds to the right, then you will move 3 rounds to the left. We're starting with a clamshell. For that first round, you have a tempo work, opening for 3 counts, holding at the top for 2 of a squeeze and closing your legs for 1. You want to really build time under tension, which means that the slower you go, the more tension you will be able to build in your muscles. If you do not have a band like me today, please make sure to be super mindful and careful about that mind-muscle connection. You can add a ball behind the knee or a small weight if you do not have a band, but the work will be just as important if you put your mind to it. After the opening, you have some little presses up. Then you're about to start this 3 times. It's going to feel intense for the glutes. If you need to lower your legs down, as you can see, my 3rd round, this is what I'm about to do. Do not hesitate to do that. You know best what's work for your body. It is also super important to stay lifted through that shape. Always ask yourself, how is your spine in this movement? Are your abdominals working to support the extension of your spine? Try to make sure to have as much detail as possible into the alignment of your body as you perform this hip opener. On this next circuit, circuit B, we will have 6 rounds, but this time we are going to keep alternating right side and left side. We will start with lateral step downs with on the right side. You can find a riser, a step, whatever you're working with. I love to work with a 20-inch box. This is not what was available for me today, so I found something a little bit lesser. But remember, what matters the most is your ability to keep your hips stable and to make sure that you're using your whole thigh, which means that your quads, your adductor, and your hamstrings should be working all together to support each other on the way down and on the way up. Control the way down as much as possible, then gently come back up, making sure your standing foot is open. Then moving into your around the world. Again, I didn't have any bend today, so without that bend, I'm trying to focus on where my hips are at. So as I'm moving my leg all around, my goal is to keep my hips exactly how they are without shifting my torso. This means this keeps challenging my standing leg a lot, so make sure to keep bending that left knee as much as you can. This is where the challenge will come. Once you're done with the reps on each side, move to the left, and you're going to keep alternating this for 6 rounds total. Your options to make this work a little bit more challenging can be adding weight, whatever you have at home. You can be holding on to heavy books, so placing a backpack with, again, some books, maybe some cans or water bottles in it. Do not underestimate the importance and especially the effectiveness of a weighted backpack for your workouts at home. You also have the option for your first step down to challenge your ability to work towards a pistol squat. If you do this, you would have to take your leg a little bit farther to the front as you squat. Hips will still go back, but the heel will go a little bit more in front of you. This is an option. It will target a different part of your leg, a little bit more hamstrings, a little bit more glutes also. You will feel the top of the leg, might feel also more pressure on the knee as you go down here, but that's a great way to challenge that step down if you do not have more height available to you. For our final moves, we have a 90-90. This one is weighted as well. I use a kettlebell today. You can use a water jug, weight, no weight, a little bit of a lift underneath the hips if needed. As always, you want to try to see how far you can go in each of the range of motion, finding the internal rotation and external rotation with your muscles. So you do not want to just fall and let yourself rest into the stretch. You want the stretch to stay active. This is one of the best ways to make sure you will not hurt your body as you go. Moving on to a pigeon with a side stretch that is optional here too, depending on where you place your foot and compared to your knee. So the front foot and compared to the front knee, you might have a little bit more stretch on the back of your hip, a little bit more into the glutes also. That will work on that external rotation. I recommend to keep that front foot flexed so you can really protect your knee in this position. Both sides are going to be a little bit different. Embrace it. Do not hesitate to add a block underneath your hips. Remember, those stretch are supposed to feel restorative. Here you have a thoracic spine mobility work. You want to keep rounding through the upper spine, actively pushing the hands together and keeping the wrist on top of the elbows. Then after that nice round, you can keep the hips back, really thinking about driving the sternum towards the floor, opening through the collarbones and feeling a deep stretch into your triceps, lats, and front of the body in particular here. Move with your breath, allow yourself to move slow. And for our final stretch, this is one of my favorite one, a mix of a hip and pelvic floor stretch. So we will start into a child's pose position, pressing the hips back, then shift your body weight forward, move your knees together and lift your feet apart and out of your knees. With this position, shift the hips back, keeping the back as long as possible. Then pick up your feet again, get them together, widen your knees as you go back into your child's pose. You will repeat this movement a couple times, move slow. You want to go as far as you can in that internal hip rotation. As you shift the hips back, it is super important to not allow the tail to go down and to slightly tuck. You want to stretch through the lower back, getting a little bit more space into those hips.